Some people find that where you study is important in helping you concentrate, which is different depending on the person.
I personally find it really difficult to work from home.
I tend to do my work on my desk in my room.
If I'm somewhere that has too many distractions or background noise, it's harder to focus on what I'm actually doing.
I know that some people actually focus better with a study playlist on in the background.
I find my dog is a really big distraction when I'm trying to study.
So a dedicated study space such as an office or the library is much better than, say, the living room where you're sitting on the sofa watching TV with your parents or trying to do anything, because that information just isn't going to go into your head as well.
So one of the best places for me to study is just somewhere plain and quiet. For instance, the library. The college library is really good because they have sections where you can study quietly and everyone has to be silent, and then you feel less of an urge to be distracted because everybody is working, so you don't want to be that one person that isn't working.
You can always ask someone for help, and it's really helpful to have the librarians tell you where to reference the books that you need as well.
I like to work in my bedroom and let other people know my house beforehand that I will be working and not to distract me.
I find in my room on my desk, away from any distractions, definitely helps clear my head away from noise, as I can just be in my own mind and then get to my work.
Speaking of desks, keep your desk tidy. Having an untidy desk really does have an effect on your performance.
It needs to be natural light, it needs to be fresh air, so make sure that there's windows in there, because that will help you concentrate and keep your mind fresh.
If I sit down in one place for too long, I get tired and I lose focus.
If it's sunny outside or if it's good weather, I'll sit in the garden to get some fresh air while revising.
If I study on a dining room table, that may replicate sitting in an exam or being at college.
I also make sure not to do any work on my bed or on the sofa, as it reduces my focus when I'm working and I feel more stressed in that area when I'm relaxing.
I would suggest trying out different locations and seeing which environment you focus and concentrate best in, and then sticking to that environment every time you study. Sometimes to avoid distractions, you first need to pinpoint the cause. Is it your phone, TV, or a family member that's distracting you?
To stop myself getting distracted, I put my phone away and anything else that could distract me out of sight. And then I surround myself with the things I need to study, like textbooks and my laptop.
So the main thing I do is leave my phone in a completely different room to where I'm going to study. So I feel like your phone is your biggest distraction. So I advise you to leave it in a different room, or if you do want to take it into your study room so you can look up some resources on it, then I advise maybe logging out of your most popular social media.
And I also put my phone completely away when I'm studying, because I find that if I put it on silent, then that just makes me want to check it more.
I always make sure that my desk has properly been cleaned out and that my phone has been put away. Then I disable the Wi-Fi on all of my devices until I finish what I've needed to do.
The first thing that I'll do is put my phone really far away from wherever I'm studying. If I'm at home, I'll put it in a room on the other side of the house. I normally put it right on the top of a bookcase so that it's really inconvenient to have to go up and get it.
I put mine on silent and try to keep it as far away from me as possible, so if I'm tempted to grab it, I'd have to physically get out of my study spot.
Another thing is I close my door so not a lot of noise comes in.
And some people like listening to music while studying. I personally don't if it's got lyrics. So a trick that I use is to listen to music in a different language that I don't understand.
I also find listening to relaxing music very helpful for while I'm studying. You can find many playlists on things like Spotify.
I use Classic FM also to make sure I don't get distracted because there's no words in the music.
And listen to study music like lo-fi hip-hop. It's just really relaxing and helps you stay focused.
During my breaks, I might go on my phone for 5 to 10 minutes, but then afterwards I put it away again and go back to studying. I go by the saying, out of sight, out of mind.
Mnemonic is really important to help revise previous course content. Acronyms, a type of mnemonic, are heavily used in the health and social care sector.
In psychology, we use acronym WEIRD, which stands for Western Educated, Industrialised, Rich and Democratic, which we refer to when talking about the distinctiveness of typical participants used in psychological experiments.
For my A-level history, we use an acronym called DAQWI. This is used to help us with source analysis. That stands for Debate, argument, quotation, evidence and evaluation.
There's also a more widely used acronym that which I incorporate into my own essay writing, and that is PEAL: point, evidence, explain and link back to the question. This is really easy to remember and it helps you structure your answers better as well and more academically.
The best method that I have found to help me remember long lists of facts or large amounts of content is called the method of loci. To remember a long list of names, what you would do is you would picture yourself in a room that you know really well, like your bedroom, and assign different words to different objects in that room as you move through it. Then in the exam you can picture yourself in that room once again, and each object will have a different name attached to it which you can recall.
I like to use the PEG system when remembering course content facts. How it works is associating numbers, for example 1 to 10, as you are unlikely to forget how to count to 1 to 10, with the facts you need to remember. The harder you think about the number and the associated fact, it will imprint in your mind, and the number will trigger the fact when you come to retrieve it.
So the main thing that I do, and I've done it since I started secondary school, was actually remembering rhymes or songs.
An example of rhyming is that in my geography at A-level I have to know that Withensea spent £6.3 million on sea defences, but that can be shortened to Withensea 6.3.
I'm a musical theatre girl as well, so learning songs for me is really easy, so this is definitely beneficial if you're someone that learns the lyrics to songs really quickly. So on YouTube, if you just type in the topic that you're learning, I'm sure someone out there has made a song about it.
When studying, I struggle to use just one learning style, so I combine different methods such as visual, auditory, and reading and writing.
I also find that using a lot of different study materials works really well. For example, I might watch a video on the topic I'm studying, and then I'll do some exam questions to consolidate that.
I feel like at home, you've got to try different methods to find out what's best for you. And I think for me, coming into a different room, having a timetable wrote down and just following that structure keeps you on track of your coursework.
Sometimes I also try to teach others topics as a form of revision, which also appeals to my learning style.
I tend to write a lot of notes with my work, so that means that when I have finished my lessons, I would come out and try and consolidate my notes into really compact forms.
Highlighting definitely helps me understand what's important and what's not. Like on this, I can see what are the different parts that I have to do, and it just really helps me when I'm glancing at it.
Most of my revision has just been converting my notes to flashcards, and although they're useful, they take a really long time to make. So one way that I've adapted it is by getting the spec out and using the spec to tailor my notes into proper flashcards that have no waffle in it.
So I have different learning styles for each different subject. For psychology, I have my notebooks, I have my mind map as my title page, and I break it down into all the little sections of the specification. But I also use quizzes and exam papers for chemistry and biology because I find this way doesn't work as well in my other two subjects.
Whenever I revise a certain topic, what I do beforehand is I make a mind map from memory before looking at my notes so that I can see what I remember and what I need to work on.
The most effective form of revision that I find is doing mind maps of past exam questions or the practice exam questions that they have in the textbook. I'll put the question in the middle, and around it I'll have the introduction and the 3 points that I'm going to use and the conclusion. And I'll also put after each point the assessment objective that I would be hitting on the marking criteria.
In sociology, we tend to make graphic organisers. They really help to organise topics and summarise them, and you can make them however you like and include diagrams and pictures and even question tabs at the bottom.
As you can see, it's very colourful, and I have highlighted all of the keywords and phrases that I will need to remember for the exam.
In the next videos, we'll be sharing our top tips for successful studying, including
research skills and critical analysis,
revision techniques,
and completing assessments.
So please make sure to like, subscribe and press the bell.
Like, subscribe and press the bell button.
Like, subscribe and press the bell.
Like, subscribe, press the bell.
Like, subscribe and press the bell.
like, subscribe and press the bell.
Like, subscribe and press the bell to know when the next video goes live.